G'day tankers, Choppy here, your average tanker. Wargaming has just announced they're going to trial some more Crew 2.0 changes, this time in the Crew Perk area. So previously they've abolished the 50-75% base commander crews, and they just made everyone 100%. So when you recruit a new commander, it's 100% straight away instead of having to use gold to upgrade it to 100%. But this is another part of that crew change 2.0, so it's to do with crew perks. So we're going to go through the video and try and explain that a little bit.
We are starting to test large-scale improvements to crew perks. This is an early test designed to check that we're moving in the right direction.
So it's an early test. It'll be a sandbox. It won't be out in the test server at all, but it's its own sandbox-y thing. My question is, the sandbox, where is the sandbox going to be located? Is it going to be one for each server region, i.e. EU, NA, Asia? Unlikely. It's probably just going to be for the EU region, so I might not be able to participate in it. But Asia never gets any loves, right?
We haven't created a new crew system, but rather developed the existing one. Let's call it a serious evolution. There are many new features, but it's easier to figure everything out than you might expect. So let's get to it.
So they reckon it's going to be easy to figure out, which might be.
Now, each crew member has just 6 slots for main perks. 0 perks also come under this list.
So they're changing the amount of perks. So you could just keep on crew training forever until you fill up all your perks, right? So now they're changing that. So each commander gets a maximum of 6. So it kind of lessens the skill gap between old players and new players. So this personally is going to be a good change. So each commander can have a maximum amount of 6 crew skills per crew member, and 0 perks are included in that 6 by looks of it.
Meanwhile,
so one of the changes here is, so you're looking at 210k experience for your first perk, 420 for your second, 840 for your third, 1680 for your fourth, 3 million, 3.3 million for your fifth, and 6.7 million for your 6th crew. So that's where 0 perk really comes in. It knocks off 6.7 million off the end, or if you're lucky you get 2 0 perks, it knocks off nearly 10 million XP off your last 2 perks. So definitely worth it.
A key benefit of 0 perks remains. They do not raise the price of experience for subsequent ones. Directives will also,
as I said, you save 10 million if you have 2 0 perks.
So not help get around the limit, since they can't give the effect of a 7th perk if only 6 have been trained.
Okay, that's good. So actually hide the CC. So at the moment, if you have, let's say you have a light tank and you just started training him, you can put in a directive and have essentially your first skill for nothing. So you can have concealment on all your crews right off the bat. So that's kind of taking away that. It won't add another crew. You can only have it can only increase.
That said, they can always strengthen already trained ones.
They can strengthen already trained perks, so it just adds to the camouflage value, for example.
There is good news for crew members who fulfill several roles at once. It is a bonus perk system. If a crew member has a secondary qualification, it will be trained alongside the major one. It has just 3 perks. To fully train a perk for an additional qualification, you need to train 2 perks for the major one. Bonus perks do not increase the total training time, no matter how many there are. Now,
so if your crew member has more than one role, i.e. your commander is your gunner and your radio man, like in a Manticore, you don't have six crews. You don't have six skills for your commander slot. You don't have six crews for your gunner, and you don't have six crews for your radio men. So they've cut the alternate. They cut the auxiliary skills down to three, but they just continually train as you train your first lot of six, your main six. So you got to train two to get one of your auxiliary slots.
There are. Now, each qualification has a choice of 3 group and 6 individual perks. You will have plenty to choose from because we've added 15 new ones. For instance,
15 new skills. We'll go through them in a second, so I'll keep watching the
practicality
video.
for a commander reduces cooldown time for consumables. The old perks have been rebalanced. Some have become more useful, for example, sound detection.
We'll do a breakdown of this and see what they say.
Firefighting is now an individual radio operator perk, meaning you don't need to train the whole.
That's a good sign. That's good. So previously, your firefighting used to be a group perk where all crew members, well, as it is now, all crew members need to train it for it to be 100% effective. Now, only your radio man will need to train it, and it'll be 80%.
Crew in it. Some perks have remained unchanged. In total, each crew member only has 9 perks to choose from and just 6 slots for their major qualification. Which ones to train and which ones not?
So they're saying 6. Correction. So they're saying 9 skills per commander slot, but you have 6. But that doesn't include your, as stated before, it doesn't include your auxiliary roles, like if your commander's your gunner as well, or your radio man. It will only have 6 main, 3, and then 3. So it's a little bit confusing, this statement here.
Which ones to train and which ones not to is up to you. All perks of duplicated qualifications now only work fully when each crew member has them.
This is
Let's
already
say you have
existing,
2
so
roles
this is
and
nothing
you've trained
special.
a perk for one of them, it will only work at 50% efficiency. This is to balance vehicles with small and large crews. After you've trained all 6 main perks, the aces will be able to train your cadets. Half of the base experience your 6 perk tankers earn will be counted toward.
So that's a good thing. So once you've learned all your skills, what are you going to do with the crew XP from there on? So your crew XP, once you learn everything, will be pulled into a universal book. So that's a good thing.
Post progression.
It doesn't mean you're just playing the tank and you're getting nothing out of it.
Get 100,000 XP and you will receive a universal training guide.
And it's a universal training guide, so that's good. You can go to whatever crew you want. It doesn't have to be that nation that you
That
trained
will help
it
you
on.
train new crews.
Very
During the
handy,
test,
very
and for
good.
some time after the update's release,
I think they use their brains for that one, which is very rare.
resetting perks will be free.
Free? Your resetting perks will be free? That's awesome. That's a good thing.
If you want to
I think there was talk that long ago going to give you a certain amount of, retraining orders, which was dumb in my opinion.
reset the perks of many
That would have been a good way to piss your community off.
crew members at once, you can use the new. If you want to reset the perks of many crew members at once, you can use the new buttons in the barracks.
Okay, so that's a good quality of life thing. So you just reset all your perks straight off with one button. That is a really good quality of life. Don't know if it's only in barracks, if it's in barracks and tanks as well. So we'll have to find that out when the test server drops. If I can get onto it.
The first one resets the perks of all your crew members, and the second one automatically fills empty perks.
I don't understand Phil's untrained perks. I don't know, does it just randomly pick a perk for you to fill it? So just be careful using that one. You might not get a decent, your decent perks. You might not get the full benefit of having
To set
perks.
crew members to your playstyle, it's best to reassign perks manually for the crews of your favourite
as I said, because it'll probably randomly pick a perk to put in here, if you click that button, whereas you need to do it manually for each tank after you reset, which is fine.
Vehicles. Zero perks can now also be reset.
What?
Zero perks can now also be reset.
Zero perks can now be reset. So that means it doesn't matter if you got brothers in arms. You can have a zero perk for something. You can change brothers in arms for something else, maybe. Not that I want to, but that's interesting. That's interesting. So yeah, that's very interesting. So you can change your brothers in arms for repairs on your zero perk if you want. Okay, that's good.
You can choose
Or even concealment. So let's say you get a light tank and you want to change a zero. You have a zero per crew, and you've only on your first one. You've reset it. You got 100% trained concealment straight off the bat. Thank you. That's good. That's good. I like that change.
several at once in the perk selection window. Head to the game portal, go to the news article about the updated system and sign up for testing. Together, we can make sure that the updated system works well and is correctly configured and balanced before we move on to common testing. Feel free to experiment and leave feedback.
Okay.
Good luck on the battlefields.
Sign up to the... That's it. All right. Yeah, so very interesting indeed. So let's have a look at some of the reworked and some of the new skills that are available. So if we command as I said, you got 9 per role, but that includes your group perks as well. So technically, you've only got 6 to choose from, with 3 group perks. So if we commander, looks like they've changed. No, hang on. So white is a new perk and orange is a change perk. So recon hasn't changed. Looks like a new perk called emergency. Increase crew efficiency bonus by 7.5% for 15 seconds after taking damage. That's not too, that doesn't stack. So this doesn't stack, okay. Mentor hasn't changed. Coordination, increase aiming speed by 12.5% for 15 seconds after you spot an enemy vehicle. The effect does not stack up. Stack up with what? Okay. So if you spot an enemy, your aiming speed increases. Might be good for light tanks. Good for snipers maybe. Maybe not snipers because you probably won't spot it, but maybe light tanks because light tanks do most of the spotting. Sound detection has changed, increase in alert about enemy SPG fire with 0.1 second delay and identifies the direction of the shot. Decreases the negative effect of stunning by 10%. Actually, I didn't know that it decreases your stun by 10%, so not too bad. Practicality decreases consumable cooldown time by 7.5%. Can be handy, and of course, brothers in arms, concealment and repairs. So that's commander out of the way. Let's have a look at the gunner, crews. So your snapshot hasn't changed, your deadeye hasn't changed, your designated target hasn't changed. It looks like concentration is a new skill. Decrease the gun depression of a stationary vehicle by 3.5%. Starts 3 seconds after the vehicle stops. So it's kind of like the binoculars system where you stop the tank and then your binocs become activated. But this one will be you stop the tank, 3 seconds later you can decrease your gun another 3.5%. Okay, don't know if that's... What's that point? I'll have to work that out. Okay, I did some quick sums here. Let's have a look, see if we can find it. Here you go. So I did a quick sum. So if you got this concentration perk, if your gun depression is 5 degrees, like some of the crappy Russian tanks and Chinese tanks are, you have this perk, you can decrease it by 0.175%. I don't know if that's worth it. I don't think it is. Yeah, let's crack on. Quick aiming improves aiming time by 2.5%. That'll be a handy skill to have. Armor reduces range of potential damage and potential penetration by 20%. Decreases gun depression by 1.5%. So another skill that decreases your gun depression. So maybe you can have these combined. Okay, let's do some math and see what that will do. Okay, here's a calculator. Let's go, 5 degrees plus 1.5%, is it? Yep, plus 1.5% equals plus I wonder if they stack. They might stack. Plus what? No, hang on. 0.175, wasn't it? Equals. So it's only a 0.25 degree increase. Still, I don't think it's worth it. But with your armorer, maybe I think the plus minus 20% is actually worth it, not the gun depression. And of course your group skills, brothers in arm, concealment, repairs again. Driver, we're looking at clutch braking hasn't changed, smooth ride hasn't changed, off-road driving hasn't changed. New skill reliable placement increases HE shells damage absorption. Speak properly. Increases HE shells damage absorbent. I can't speak today. New skill reliable placement increases HE shells damage absorption by 7.5% and decreases damage received from falling by 30%. So if you fall off a cliff, you get less damage received. Who would? Yeah. Why? Controlled impact doesn't look like it's changed. Engineer new skill increases the top forward speed and reverse speed of your vehicle by 1 kilometer. Reduces the penalty to a damaged engine by 20%. Could be handy. Always good to have a faster reverse speed. And again, brothers arms, concealment and repairs. Loader, we got adrenaline rush has changed, so it decreases gun loading time by 5% if your vehicle is under 25%. I think previously it was like 10%. Now it's a quarter of your hit points. If you've got a quarter of your hit points left, adrenaline rush would be activated, which is a good change because 10% you're just pretty much a one-shotter anyway. Safe storage doesn't look like it's changed. Intuition hasn't changed. Perfect charge, new skill, perfect charge increases shell velocity by 10%. Not sure if it's worth it. Not sure if it's worth it. I mean, if you've got a low shell velocity, 10% of a low shell velocity is practically nothing anyway. Close combat decreases your gun loading time by 2.5% at distances of 50 meters. So this is good for brawling tanks, so things like the mouse, I guess. Anything that brawls in town, if you're close to an enemy at 50 meters away, your gun loading time is increased. Maybe this is to stop the, I don't know, maybe they're trying to stop the brawls in town, the big heavy brawls. I don't know what they're trying to do with this. Anyway, your DPM will increase by 2.5%, I guess. Auto tuning increased minimum potential damage and minimum potential penetration by 2%. So effectively, that's affecting your RNG. It's reducing your RNG by 2%. I think currently RNG is plus minus 15%. With this skill, it'll be plus minus 13%. Oh, sorry, minus 30%, 13% plus 15%. And group skills again. All right, radio operator. We're looking at situational awareness hasn't changed. Side by side, a new skill. Side by side increases crew efficiency bonus by 2.5% at distances 50% or less. 50 meters or less from an allied vehicle of the same type. It increases the crew efficiency bonus by 2.5% at distances of 50 meters from an allied vehicle. So effectively, if you're in a platoon, you need to, is it the same type as in a heavy? So you platoon all heavies and you go into town, you effectively increase your crew bonuses by 2.5%. So it'll effectively increase all your crew skills by 2.5%. That's an interesting one. So you just got to platoon up in the same vehicle, same type of vehicles. If you want to, platoon up as a Red Line Warrior group, all TDs in the Red Line, you get a 2.5. If you're in the same bush, if you guys are sharing the same bush, you get 2.5% to your crew efficiency bonus. Jamming is a new skill as well. Decreases your time your vehicle remains spotted by 1 second. So good for your EBRs and your scouts. You can get that skill, reduces your from 10 seconds down to 9 seconds, or combine it with a radio and it'll be a 7-second spot time. So not a bad. It actually makes radio a little bit more worth it having on. So your signal interception decreases your time to determine whether your vehicle has been spotted by 0.5. So this is effectively, this is probably going to be a go-to skill as well. So instead of 3 seconds, your 6th sense goes off, it'll be 2.5 seconds effectively. So not a bad change. Radio expert has changed. It increases your crew efficiency bonus by 2.5% if the amount of damage you assist exceeds your vehicle initial hit points. So another crew efficiency bonus, but only comes into effect if your assist damage is more than your hit points. So effectively, it's going to be sitting there useless until you get 2.5, 3 grand, depending on what tank you're in. So it's a useless skill up until you do a lot of assists. And we talked about firefighting. They've changed firefighting from a group skill to a radio operator skill, and increases your fire extinguishing speed by 80%. And again, your concealment. So yeah, that's my take on the new crew skills. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. It's very interesting. Here you go, example. Let's go. There we go. Sign up for testing. So do a quick sign up. Let's see what happens. So this is on the Asia server, so they might have an Asia sandbox. And that's it. That's how simple it is to sign up. All right. Well, I think that's it from me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. Let me know what your thoughts are about the Crew 2.0 changes coming up. Do you think they're better? I think it's going to lessen the skill gap. So they lessen the skill gap already from getting rid of the 50 and 75% base commander skills in the thing. So I think they've reduced that skill gap a little bit, and this is going to bring all the 6 plus, 7 plus, 8 plus, all the whales out there, it's going to bring their efficiency down, or their tank. It's essentially a tank rebalance as well. So by fixing the crew skills, you're effectively balancing the tanks as well that they're in. So it'll bring that gap into it, and then it'll be down to player skill rather than how much you've played, which is a good thing in my opinion as an average tanker. Yeah. Anyway, that's it from me, Chopper.